Hi, welcome back to another video of AppginiLTE tutorial. In this video, we'll be going through the widgets as we had mentioned in our previous video. Then I'll be also showing you some new features that we released in our recent update. Okay, so stay tuned and let's do this. So first of all, we would like to see some of the new features first. So there are some few new features that we released. I think two features. So if you head over to AppginiLTE settings over here, settings over here, you will see a new menu here called Inline Edit. So what generally Inline Edit does is this feature enables you to edit your table content inline when you click on any data field on the table view. You can edit the data without leaving the table view. Traditionally right now in Appgini, if you have to edit some data in your table, you have to click. If you click on some data on a table column or a row there, you'll have to be taken to another page, the detailed page where you'll be able to edit now the content. But we inline edit, if you want to edit something very quickly without opening another page or going to another page, just want to edit something quickly. Now this is where inline edit comes into play. So I also want to give credit to the original creator of this plugin, my friend Landini. He's the one who originally created this plugin for Appgini, right? So this was borrowed from that plugin, but now with advancement, with things to do with the dynamics, how you can now install them automatically to any table. You see, with his plugin, you have to manually go to each table file in the hooks folder to insert the code there one by one for each table. Also, if you want to enable or disable fields to edit, you have to also do that manually. But what this one now does is that it now steps up the functionality of that. Now makes you have a user interface where you can now control all those things. As you can see here, we have the tables. You see your tables in your application. You have orders, customers, order items, suppliers, and shippers. So these are your tables. So you can enable inline edit for any table you wish, or you can disable for any table you wish. All the same. So, for example, for the table customers, you can see we have enabled it. We have enabled it here, and we have enabled it here. So we are going to look at this very shortly. But before we do that, let's go to general settings. We have a new feature here. So you could see this one here, this user session expiry. So right now you can set, you as the admin can set how long you want idle sessions. If someone has been logged in and they're not active for a given time, so you can now define how long the session will expire. Like for me, I've set 30 minutes. So you could say 10 minutes, you could say 30, you could say 20, you could say 15. Anything you want, you as the admin, you have to specify. So that said, you can save your changes. You're good to go. The other thing we have introduced is this button right here, install updates and uninstall. So install updates, let's assume you have upgraded or you have downloaded the latest release. Of course, behind the scenes, we have some new functionalities that are not yet installed into your current system, and they don't come just automatically by you running it. So you have to click this button, install updates, right? Things like this inline edit. If you do download this, I had some users saying they have downloaded the new release, but the inline edit is not working on their tables. So what they have to do is this: come to general settings, install updates. So when you click on install updates, it will run all those functionalities that we have. Tells you if inline edit is set up successfully. Now inline edit will be successfully set up. So all those functionalities that are new, you always have to take caution and run this click on this one here, install updates. That will automatically install the updates that we have on any release. Or let's say you have regenerated your Appgini application and you know, the functionality, you know, of course this UI will be temporarily removed because we modify the index file of Appgini, index.php file of Appgini. So if that file is overwritten, then this UI will be lost. So you'll have to come and install. So this one you won't get it directly, but you can always come here and say on your application, you just come and say install, say AdminLTE install .php. So you hit this. So once you hit it, it will still do the same functionality as install updates. Now, but if you have installed, the UI is already there, you don't need to go there. Just come to settings and install updates. That's all. It doesn't change any of your settings like the icons and whatever. It doesn't touch that. Just some core functionality behind the scenes. That's all it does. So that being said and done, so we have seen we have this and uninstall. Uninstall also does the same thing. It removes this UI here. So you have to, if you uninstall, it will remove the UI. Then one thing to note, you'll discover that if you uninstall, your Appgini header will not be visible. It will be, you know, it will be there. But you can manually now have, you'll manually have to do that to restore it. So what you do is you'll go to your root directory for folder in your files. You'll look for a file called incommon.php. So incommon.php, just above it, you'll see some backup files that are there. So you'll see the files are arranged according to the date it was backed up. So you'll pick the recent update, the recent backup of that incommon. Then you just open it, copy everything in it, then go paste it in the incommon.php file. That should restore your Appgini header if you have installed here. But everything else will be okay. So that's it. So we have seen the session. You can do the session here. Then, so if a session expires, you will be redirected to a page where you'll be required to log in again. So that's it. So let's go back to Inline Edit so we see how it works. So Inline Edit, let's see, we have installed it on customers, and you have disabled some few fields. So this field, disable inline editing for these fields. So customer ID, we don't want it to be editable inline. We also have country. We don't want country to be edited inline because country is a lookup field to countries table. So if you do inline edit, it won't show that drop down list of countries, of course, because the functionality is not there. So for us, we only do edits for text field, plain text fields like company name. You see, it's a text field. Contact name is a text field. So those ones are easy and they'll perform fantastically. But for these others like dates, lookup, checkboxes, they will not perform as you do expect. Of course, we'll do more research and see how we can advance this to pick those fields in future, but we cannot promise that will be done soon. But for now, let's see what we have. So once you have installed Inline Edit for any table, like for this customers table here, we have Inline Edit installed. So you'll see this icon come here, right? So this one will enable you. Let's assume all your fields are Inline Edits, like this one here. You see, you cannot go to the detail view right now to edit. You just edit it there. So you say, if you edit that and say that and click OK, submit, it updates automatically very quickly. So this one comes in as a backup if you do want now to edit some other fields from the detail view page. You see, now it will come, it will open that, right? So that's it. That's simple. If you want to edit again, just do that, pick. That's it. So even for empty fields like these ones, you see these ones are empty, this region, these ones, you see, you can edit even empty fields. Like you see, it says click to edit. If you click there, you can now provide your new value there. If you say, for example, that is it, and you save, and it's it's done. See, the region is now there. So that's how simple and fast Inline Edit is. It's very, very simple. And also, if you do want to disable Inline Edit for this table entirely, like you don't want it to be there, maybe you, for some reasons, you don't want it to be on this table, just come back to settings, AppginiLTE settings, Inline Edit, go to your table customers, say disable. So this one will be disabled now. Enable, no, this, now you say no, and save changes. So when you go back to your customers table, you'll find that inline edit is no longer there. So this field previously we could edit inline. Right now, if you click, opens that detail view page. As simple as that. You don't have to worry about anything or touching any code. It's that simple as that. So we can also take it back, say yes, save changes. That's it. So if you do want to disable fields, you can disable multiple fields like this one, order items. So for example, say order items, you want to enable this and we want to disable this. So you click on the field. If you're on your machine, you can on Windows. For me, I'm using Windows, so I can hold the Control key and click any other field, like you see, so that you select multiple fields. That's as easy as that. You hold down the Control key as you click the rest, so and you save your changes, and that's it. That's how inline edit works. See, inline edit for this one is back here. It's that simple. So now we want to go to our widgets. So widgets now will be applied on this dashboard page here. So this dashboard page is for the super admins or the admins group. They can see this page here. So that's what we'll be working on. But the same concept will be applied to any other groups you have. So to do that, build your dashboards, you go to the menu there, go to dashboard builder, then you'll see the files here. So each group has two files, the admin's top page and admin's bottom page. You see, this is the one group, anonymous, top, bottom, staff, bottom, top. Thus it, you'll be seeing those two files. So if you want to edit, like for admin's top, you see we had written our alert widget there. That's how it looks like. So you may be wondering, what are these widgets? You see, these widgets are things that you can add to your user interface to make it more appealing, and to crunch down data that you have in your database. If you want to show charts, show data, analyze it, you see, to have some sense to you, to the users also, you can use these widgets. We have a lot of widgets, a lot of them. So we have donut chart, we have pie chart, we have bar chart, line chart, area chart, responsive table, data table, model, alert, call out, application button, data card, and toasts and info boxes. So we have a documentation for all these things. So anytime you need to refer to them, a detailed one, because this one here is just a very basic documentation for if you want to quickly refer to it here. You can just like this one, pick this and paste it in there. Remember, we said you always have to put it in PHP tags if you paste it there. So it's that simple. So let me show you where the documentation is. So if you go to Appgini forums, so if you go maybe to Appgini forums, of course, forums.appgini.com, you will go to Appgini plugins. Appgini plugins, then you'll find AdminLTE Plugin. You may find it at the top here, or maybe find it somewhere in there, depending on the activity happening on the forum. But you can always search, like let's say AdminLTE. So if you do the search, you'll find it, AdminLTE Plugin. So you just click on it, and you'll be taken right in. So you can click, take you to the home page. Right, let's click on that. Yeah. So this is where the topic thread starts. Right here. So if you scroll through, you'll see here, check out the Appgini Pro features documentation. So if you click on this, it will take you to that page. So this is the page that has the documentation of our widgets. So you can see here has the basic introduction, installation, guides, customization and usage. Some few things here and there. Basically on the user area, right? So if we want to right now, our main focus is on the widgets. So you will click here. So if you click here, it will show you now the Appgini widget functions page. So you'll see all our widgets are listed here on this left, on the far right. So we want to start. So we want to start with the donut chart. For example, donut chart is here. So for the donut chart, this widget displays a donut chart, whatever you call it. Below is the structure of the function. So we have outlined the structure of the function there. It accepts several parameters. The first one being the chart title, the title of the chart. The second one being the data of the chart. This one strictly takes in this parameter, takes in a query parameter. So you'll use the default SQL function of Appgini to do your query. We shall go through it practically to see how it goes. So for us, we want to put, let's go to the dashboard page here. So below here, right here, we want to put our first donut chart right there. So we want to see how to do that, right? So we want to do a chart showing the sum of employee orders. So if you go to orders here, right? So you'll see we have employee, right? So we have employees here, here, here. So we want to know, maybe you want to know how many orders does each employee have, right? You want to know how many orders that each employee have, and you want to display that in a donut chart. So basically you'll be doing a count, you'll be doing a count of all the orders per employee. So it's that simple. So let's come here. You will find there we have already done for you the example. So you could just easily copy this. But let's see. After the data parameter, we have the color. You now have the color of the chart. We could have, the colors: primary, danger, success, warning. Those are the bootstrap colors, that they used: primary, danger, warning, success, and info. You can use those 5 colors. And the chart size. This is just the size of the chart. We have the maximum is 12. Call MD 12. Then you can now resize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the space you want it to occupy on the dashboard. So let's go right in. Copy that. Go to our dashboard builder. You can open our dashboard builder on a separate tab. So admin's top, right? So we are at the admin's top page. So we will come here and say maybe, or we can just come here because it was in its own row. So that's it. So the title of our chart is sum of employee orders, or let's call it total orders per employee, right? So let's say total orders per employee. This is the first parameter, total orders per employee. Right? So that's it. So if you go to this table here, this table called orders, you'll notice let's just go to this. So employee is a lookup field to employees table, right? To employees table. So we have last name and first name. So it's a lookup field. So let's just try to write the query and see what it will be shown. Then we'll now know how to now get the actual, because in Appgini what is stored here is the ID of the employee, right? So we need to do a join now to bring the actual employee name there. So let's do this. Let's go to, so we say total orders per employee. That's it. Now, so this is our query. So you use this SQL function, right? This is the function that we are going to use to now get the total orders per employee. So what we are going to do, we are going to count everything as value. So this is the value that the count will be our value. So remember, on all our queries for these charts, we'll be using this specific keyword, value. Count is the value as value. So you'll be saying as value. I've seen some users sending me support requests saying that they have put something on the chat and it's not showing. They use some other words, you see. So maybe if someone comes here and says maybe total orders, if you say as total orders, like say total orders, our function won't pick it up. So our function is programmed to listen to this keyword. So you say value. So if you pass the value as value alias here, so it will know we are specifying the value of that chat. So this is the value. Now count will show the number. If it's 10, your 10 orders or 20 orders, it will show now as value. Now what is the label that we want to show? So this 10 belongs to what? This is the label now. So the client, for example, is the client name. So client name, you'll say as label, specifically label. You don't put any other thing there. If you put any other thing, it won't show. So that's clear. So the values will have the value. So let's say you have some, it depends how your query looks like, but the field that will have, or the column that will have the value you want to show will be called value, as value. And the other one, the label one that shows the name, will be called label. The rest is simple, from orders, group by, that. So for our query here, let's just dive right in. So we've said we want to count everything from which table? Orders table. We want to count everything from orders table. That's okay. Select count everything from orders table. That's okay. Now we have this one, client name. So client name, so for us we want the employee, right? And remember, the employee, he is a lookup field. So we don't want to use it because it will show the ID. Or maybe let's just try use it to see what will happen. Then we have the solution for it. So that I think that one will be much better. So let's say employee. So let's say employee. So a point of correction here. So we've just confirmed it is called employee ID, right? So we had written employee, so that was not working here. So let's save this. Save changes. So you can always confirm the actual names of your columns. So if you're not sure with your column names, you can always go to the admin area under utilities, view rebuild fields. That will just give you how the columns are named. So I just confirmed here it's employee ID. So you know, if you see, look at the table, the label could be different on the table view. So it's employee ID there. So it's employee ID. So that's saved. So it couldn't show because we provided employee and not employee ID. So that couldn't work. So let's just refresh this page and see. Now here we go. So we have let's call it total orders per employee. Let's save changes. So if you refresh, you'll see total orders per employee. So this is our chart. So we had seen, now these are the employees. Now these are the employees, right? So these are the IDs. So we need now to modify our query to make it display now the actual names by now joining these two tables. So this now needs you to have some advanced knowledge of SQL, you know, to do the queries and stuff. So another point to note. So to avoid errors and uncertainties in your queries, you can always test your queries first. Like this one of mine here. You know, if you don't test it, you may be wondering things are not working, and you're not sure of what's not going on. So you just copy your query and come to interactive SQL queries tool. This is provided here. You can just click on it, then you can paste your query there and say display results. So you'll see the value is here and the label is here. So let's say you had an error in your query. You should be able to see it here. You can fix it, ensure it's running properly and showing the correct values. Then now you can use it here. So that makes your work easier now, instead of bumping into unknown errors on the other side. So this is our code, and this is our chart. So if you go to the main area, so you see employee ID. So we have the employees table, which they have the employee ID there. So for us, we want the last name, right? We want the last name of the employee for this case. So we want to show the last name of the employee, and you see here we only have the employee ID. So we have to join this orders table and this employees table to be able to get the employee last name, right? So we can come to our query here and modify it, or we could write it in here, right, before we come and put it here. So let's just go back to our browser there. Okay, dashboard builder. So we want to do the join, so we can do it right here. So we're going to say select count everything as value. That's okay. So employee ID. So right now we don't want employee ID. So the employees table, we could say e dot last name. So the employee ID will give it an alias of e last name. So make sure the field name is also correct. Last name. So it's last name. So you see e dot last name as label from orders. So we'll group by e last name. Of course, we could just group by employee ID. This is no problem. Group by employee ID there. So employee ID from, so if you say orders, so if you say orders O, right? So that we can say O dot employee ID, because you can see we have employee ID here and you have employee ID here. So you have to specify from which to avoid ambiguity. So O dot employee ID, this is from orders employee ID, and here we have employees last name. Okay, so we want to join employees e on employees we'll just say e dot employee ID is representing orders dot employee ID. So that's it. So what we have done here, we are doing a join. So from here all the way to here even is clear. So we're just going to count everything from the orders table. Now, of course, that will be the value and the last name. Now the query will be one query. Now we can fetch now the last name from employees table. So you see here we have last name, e dot last name, that's employees last name as label from orders, O, which is that's the alias of orders table for this case, O, join employees e, the alias of the employees is e, as you can see. So we'll be using e. So e dot employee ID on orders dot employee ID is equals to orders dot employee ID. So that's the query, how the query will look like. So let's see if our query will actually run as we do expect it. And there we go. So we have the label there, right? So let's assume maybe you want to show the full name of the employee. Basically, you want to see the list. We have last name and first name. You want to show both, right? So you could easily do that here. So let's see. Our value was our label now. It was this one. So we could concat. Say concat. This is an SQL function concat. So you want to show both, so you want to do that, say want to do e dot first name, right? So we will have the last name, comma, first name. That's how it will look like. Let's see. Here we go. See the last name, first name. Does it. So we have our query. Now we have done our query. You see, now that's the process. So we have done our query. Let's now we have ensured also it's working as we expect. Now let's copy it. Let's copy it and paste it right in here. So we'll replace this with our working query now. Right. Let's do this. Shall replace it with our working query and save code changes. Now, if you do save code changes, now we want to refresh, see what shows now. Instead of these IDs, these are employee IDs. Now want to see the actual names. You need to use double quotes. I think that's the only one. Don't think there's any other. So now we can see the chart, the donut chart now shows the employee names correctly now without this. So you can highlight and see total orders per employee there, right? You can now see there. So another point of correction here on my query here. So we used single quotes here, right? So that threw an error because of we have used single quotes here. So we need to use these double quotes. So you use double quotes right there when you're doing your concatenation inside there. But now it works correctly here. So we can see you have a donut chart showing the total orders per employee. So and remember, we have put this code in the admin's top. So let's say we want to move it to admin's bottom. We don't want to see it at the top here. I want to see it at the bottom right here. So we could just come here and copy this, the whole of this, cut it, save changes here. So it is now there. So once it is done, we can now come to admin's bottom and just paste, remove this one, paste that there, save code changes. So right now we should be able to see it at the bottom right there. So this is our donut chart. So we have seen how to check the query if it works. You check if your query works using the interactive SQL queries tool here. Also confirming your column names to ensure that you're using the correct ones. If you know them, you can be sure. Just try your query here and see if it throws an error before you actually use it in the dashboard builder. So that's it. We have our our donut chart showing correctly total orders per employee. Okay, so let's go to, we want to do another bar chart now. This bar chart will show us the total orders per country. So if you come to this orders table here, you'll see we have ship country, right? So this is where the orders need to be delivered to. So we want to know how many orders does each country have, right? Now using a bar chart. So back to our guide here, to our tutorial here, to our documentation. You check for the bar chart. Bar chart is there. So the bar chart is also similar to the donut chart, very similar in the parameters and the data query, very similar. So the data query will be the same, So let's go here, copy that, and say we want to put it right here. So for our query, we want to say orders per country. That's correct. Orders per country. So that's it. So what we want to do is we want to check so if you go to orders, we have a country, ship country. Where is the ship country? Ship country is here, right? So if you go to this table, let's see if this is a lookup field. Ship country. So ship country is not a lookup field. Is not. So we want to know the orders per ship country. So we'll come to our interactive SQL queries tool here, and we'll just remove this now. So we'll say this as label from orders group by ship country, right? So let's see if it shows. So we can see here it is showing us these IDs. So let's check in our database to see yeah, so you realize that this ship country is being pulled from the customers table. That's why you see here we have the customer ID, right? So basically what we want to do is now pull the country here, the country from the customers. So if you go here, you realize that the country is, of course, it's just a list of countries, right? It's not a lookup, it's just a list. So once again, we will have to do the join. You have to do the join, right? So customers dot country. Now we want to do customers country. So we come to this one here. Just want to confirm customers. This one customer ID. So we want to get the country. So country there. So on our query here, let's just modify it. So the value will still remain in the count. Now we want to see customers, right? Dot country. So customers will give an alias of C. The country will give it an alias of C. That's the customers. So this one will be our label from. So we want to from orders, to get it from orders. O. Orders O. Want to join customers. C. Join customers C on C customer ID. So we customer ID customer ID is orders. So on orders, that ID on orders is the ship country here. That's the ID that was, you know, passed there. So see orders ship country. So we group by orders ship country. So that's it. So we what we're basically doing is we are getting the country from the customers, right? So the join, we are joining customers C using the customer ID, which is represented by ship country on the orders table. So we are joining those two using those two IDs. This is the same thing. So let's run the query and see if we get any result. And here we go. We have the result right there. So that's it. So you'll copy your code there, copy it, and come and paste it in there, right in there, right in here. Let's just do it again. In there. So that's it. Let's save the changes and see if we do get bar chart. So let's go to our dashboard and see. You can see our bar chart is right here. It's pretty big. It's taken the whole space, right? Take the whole space there. So let's just come here and see. See that. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this now one more time. So after the data here, you see the data, we have the dataset label. So let's see if we provided the dataset label there. After this, you see we need to provide the dataset label here, so we need to provide it. Provide the dataset label that shows total orders, right? The data is total orders. Save changes. I think that was what we were missing on. Then you can refresh here. There we go. So I think we missed one parameter here, so you have to make sure you have all the parameters. So we skipped this dataset label parameter, so that's why the chart was not showing correctly, but now we have it here. So we can change the color here to danger. Then refresh here. There we go. So total orders. So if you highlight on this, it will show you how many orders do we have in Australia. See, 30. How many do we have in Sweden? 18. In Germany we have 28. In United States we have 31. So that's basically it. So you've seen how we've done this queries, but these queries have been a bit advanced because we are using joins to get data from different tables and put them into one query so that we can utilize it here, because we realized the data in this Northwind demo here was using lookups. You see, because you can see like employee was a lookup field to employees table on the orders from the orders table, and also the country here was a lookup field to customers, you know. So that's why we did do the joins. So As long as you've mastered the art of the queries, how to do the joins, it's super easy. But in some scenarios, you may not need to do the joins. Maybe your data is straightforward, and maybe the countries, for example, if the country was just ready in the orders table, we would just pull it directly without doing the joins. But all in all, it's a learning curve also if you're not really a programmer. But you can always reach out for any help if you have any difficulties doing such queries, or maybe querying your data. I could always help you such cases. So we have for now we have displayed donut chart and a bar chart showing donut chart showing orders per employee and orders per country. So the next thing we want to do is a data table. So we want to fetch some data and display it here on the dashboard below here. So we can fetch some data from any given table. We could do the join data from different tables and show it into one table here, or we could just fetch some data. Maybe you want the recent orders, the recent 10 orders, you can fetch them and show them. That's so the first one we want to do is total sales per product. So we want to see a table that has the total sales per product. So let's look at the data that we have in this application. So we have products here. Okay, so we have products. So the product name is specified there, and we have its unit price there. So we want to see for each product how much have we gotten in sales, right? You want to analyze that into a single table, because of course here you can't see. Even if you go to orders, no, not the items are in order items. So we have products here. You see the product is here, and we have the subtotal. Now the subtotal for that order. So for example, this tofu, it's called tofu, right? Tofu. So the subtotal is 167. But now we want all the order items. We want to do now an analysis on all. Now just get the total sales for this tofu in all our orders, right? So you see that is another thing. So how do you do that? And we display it in a data table. So if you go to our documentation here, look for the data table. So the data table will look something like this here, right? This one here. So you can see it will show you this thing up here to save CSV, Excel, PDF, print, copy, hide columns using column visibility, search through the data you have. Let's assume you have queried and the data is a lot. You can easily pagenet it, and you can filter, you can sort these columns. You see those arrows there, and sort them ascending or descending depending on what. That's how the data table looks like, right? So, and we have a responsive table. The difference is responsive table doesn't have these things like the CSV, search, sort things. It doesn't have those things. It just shows you the data plainly, like as you can see here. You see, shows you the data just plainly like that in your fields and the data. You can't sort, you can't paginate, you can't search. That's it. So you, depending on your use case, so you can choose which one you want to use. So for this case, we are going to use the data table because it gives us all that functionality. So we were trying to analyze our data here. We see we have order items. Order items have a product, and of course this product is a lookup field to products table. So this is just an ID of the product. So we want to do that very quickly. So what we want to do is display the data table below the dashboard there. The dashboard there. So let's dive in. Come to our documentation. Could copy this copy this, copy that, and we come and put it in here, so put that there. So we need to look at the parameters that are required for this data table function. So you'll realize we need the table title, right? Table title is the title of the table. Like if it's for our case, it will be total sales per product. That's the title. The data query. Data query is as usual even from the rest of the charts we have seen, but in this case scenario here, our data query for the data table will be a bit different. We'll see that we want to be having the aliases of the value and the label. This one you can put whatever alias you want. The alias you want is the one that will be shown as the table, the column title here, category. If you whatever alias you put, if you say you want to have it as whichever, you'll see it will just automatically appear there. So you can put anything. It's not restricted to those two because you're picking all the data that you queried. Data query now, and the size of the table, to how what will it occupy, size will it occupy, like the whole entire column. So allow copy, yes. Allow CSV, yes. So this one is just giving permissions to it. So if you say allow copy, you can copy using the copy one. If you allow CSV, if you don't allow, it won't show. Also, it won't show there. So that's it for these ones. So allow CSV, allow Excel, allow PDF, allow print, sort column. So if you say sort column, the column, this is the column number. So if you want to sort using the first column, like this one, ID, this will be column. So if your columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so this starts at 0. This is 0. This ID is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you want to sort using ID, for example, we want to sort by default when the table is rendered, it sorts by ID descending, right? So you'll say sort column is 0. So that's it. So say sort column is 0. Sort order, you say descending. Sort that column that you have specified in descending order. Then you say records per page. So if I have 100 records, so how many records should appear per page? So you say 30. Now this is now pagination coming in. So we'll see 30 records per page, and then we'll see at the bottom say next page, next page. So you can specify whichever number you want down there. And that's all. So we have our this is pretty for the query. It's pretty simple now. So we'll just do our query in here as usual, right? So we'll go here and open the interactive SQL queries tool. So we're going to order items, right? So order items, we want to select the sum of the subtotal. So we'll say select sum of so this table is called order item, so let's call it OI dot subtotal sum of OI dot subtotal. This one we'll call it total sales, right? Then we could say the product name. So products is product name from products. So we could say we start with P dot so we'll have the product name, total sales, right? So that's it. So from what table are we querying from? It is the order items table. So it's called order details. So say from order details, so we should call it order details OD. So let's say OD here, OD, order details OD, join now. So I want to join products P, join products, it's called products, yeah, products P on P. So what's this? The product ID. So this is a product ID. So product ID there is, or on order details is also the product ID, right? So then we do group by, group by product ID. So the query summary is here. So selects product name from products, see P dot product name, that's it. The sum of order details subtotal for these products we have as total cells. So the total cells will be the title, column title of our table, from order details. This is the table that we are looking at. This table, this one, order details table. Then we are joining it's called OD is the alias we have given it to. You see also there. So we are joining it to products using product ID, P dot product ID, and order details product ID. So always remember that this product ID you do here on the other table, you're getting this should be the same ID that is on the current table, right? They should be the same thing, because if it's a lookup, it shows the ID of that table, of the parent table. So this is the parent table. This is the parent table. On the child table, it is called also product ID. So we join using that. So it's as simple as that. So let's display the results if we do have. Very good. So we have the results here. So we have product name and total cells. So we take our query as usual and place it in here. So you see here. So we copy the query here, copy it, and place it in here. Place it in here. So we have confirmed our query is working well. Want to show all the things, and we have 50 records per page. Okay, so let's save it and see what we see, or what we shall have on the dashboard there. So dashboard, there we go. We have, you see the pagination. Now we have 50 records on the first page, and we can go to the next page like that and back like that. So that's simple. So we have this. Okay, we didn't change. Let's change the, you see this is showing the example from our tutorial. So let's change it to total sales per product. Total sales per product. So that's it. Total sales per product. Let's, if you do refresh here, total sales per product. So let's just go back to our dashboard here. So far so good. We have seen how to create a donut chart, how to create a bar chart, how to pull data, query and pull data and show it on this data table here. So you see, so if you want, let's say you want to search for a specific product, you see it is very quick. You see, the moment you start typing, the product appears. So like we searched for tofu is here and here. So those are two because they have similar names, but you can see for this one we have $8,628 total sales. So that's it. You can search through. You can, if you want to sort this one, you can click on that to show you, like this one showing you from the largest to the smallest. So we have the largest is $143,395. So this is the highest selling product. This is called Hodi Blay. Hodi Blay is having the highest sales ever, right? And we have pulled this data from two tables. One from the order details, this one. So by coming to this one, you can't really know how many sales you have per product because you have all the products listed there in all the orders that we ever have. So it's very hard to really know. But here, you know, with this summary now, you can be able to see how many sales we have per product. And you can advance this maybe if you want to have a graphical view of this data here, like on a bar chart, for example. You want to have a bar chart that shows you which one is higher, which one is low. You can use the same query now, having this as your label and this as your value on the bar chart query, and that's it. And you'll have it rendered here. So for now, we shall end this part of the tutorial here. We shall have another video also now to touch on other widgets. We have several other few widgets remaining, but the concept in this ones we have covered will really help you in all the other tutorials that we will cover. So thank you very much for staying this far. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me out to my email and or WhatsApp if you can, or comment on the forum thread there if you have any questions. But so far, you see, we have an appealing dashboard here. So with Appgini, by default, you wouldn't have had such a view, right? That's why AppginiLTE is now helping you to build powerful dashboards from Appgini. Appgini is a very powerful software that enables you to generate secure applications. Now with this AdminLTE, you now complement it to enable you to have such kind of dashboards. So that's it. Thank you and see you in the next video. She'll release next video soon, covering all the other widgets. Thank you and goodbye.